All right, so I want to start with the obvious, all right? I want everybody to go around and tell me when you became vegan and why. And it doesn't have to be long or anything, but just, you know, because you're all vegans, and I find that to be crazy. And I'm just being honest. As a carnivore, it's hard to understand. But at the same time, what I love about this is the most important thing that I want to make sure everybody hears us, because I'm sick and tired of seeing stuff online where we're beating each other up. It's like when Christians beat up Christians and conservatives beat up conservatives and, you know, Jamaicans beat up, like, we all are doing this for the right reasons. And the path doesn't have to look the same for everybody. And so I know everything y'all are doing is a good thing in your own way. And we all don't have to be doing the same thing. But health is something that everybody has to find their own path and what works for them. So I just want people to realize that you can sit down with someone that thinks differently than you and talk about why, and then come to an understanding. And again, you can agree to disagree. Right. But the way people attack vegans and vice versa, it's disgusting. Like, it's just weird to me. I don't understand it. And it's unnecessary. And I really thought that this would be a great opportunity for us to get together. We have differences, but we also, I mean, I admire you guys. We have great friendships. You know, we're not like, we're in the same space and we can have these conversations in a healthy way. So just wanted to start through that. Lance, you start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, you know, the common denominator is health. It's about not poisoning our body, putting great things in our body. And, you know, 99% of the people that I know aren't vegan, right? So it's not like I have anything against non-vegans, right? For me personally, it's about what I want, and I'm pro what I do. I'm not anti what everybody else does. Like, the majority of my friends, you know, sometimes they'll laugh and joke, but I know they're my friends. But then you'll go online in the comments,
oh, it's brutal.
How are you gonna do this? And I'm like, listen, man, like it works for me. I get it. You know, I've been in it for a while. I learned about it before I got into it. Like I say, I've been vegan for almost 8 years. 8 years.
Okay.
8 years. And I became vegan because of the sickle cell, right? My whole understanding is that the majority of my genetics, I'm 85% African, 15% European. They come from the tropics. You know, you can look at it from the nose structure, the hair texture. It tells me everything that I need to know. The tropical environments, tropical foods, what's there, more plentiful of fruit and veggies. So I went that route. All right? And am I anti what everybody else does? No, everybody has their own path. Like, I'm not God. I'm not Jesus. I'm no one to tell somebody what they should do and condemn them for it.
And just so you can elaborate on that.
Yeah.
When you did make that decision, did you get advice to do that, or is that something you discovered on your own?
Yeah. So I did get advice for it, but then also I read. So I had a book. I stole it from school. You know, when
still looking for you right now.
Listen. I steal books. I'm sorry, and not from the store, but you know the ones at school where you pay for it and you don't give it back.
Are you talking about the ones you check out of the library and then you never bring it back?
No, you pay for them. No, you pay for them. But then you're supposed to give it back at the end of the year. It's like, why would I give back something I paid for? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you know how they give you books in
school. Yeah. They didn't give it to me. I actually paid for it, but then they wanted it back. It's like, no, I'm going to keep my book.
Right. Oh, yeah, I kept all my
books. You got to come with another word than stole.
Yeah, you didn't steal it. You just kept it.
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah.
You didn't donate it back. Right. Because that's really what it is. You're donating it back.
Yeah. Right. They don't change the edition.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it was Essentials of Strength and Conditioning, right? It's the one that you take for the SESE.
Okay.
CSCS. And they talked about, you know, being vegan and how you need to couple foods. You need to put the legumes with the seeds to create complete protein. So I was like, oh, really? All right. So all my struggles, okay, let me try to piece this together. I went vegan. It wasn't hard for me because I knew what I was doing prior to it. Most people that I come across that are vegan, that they just jumped into it, they're like, oh, this sucks, man. This is terrible. It's like, well, are you eating your fats? Are you eating your legumes, your grains, your seeds, your nuts? Oh, no, I'm just eating lettuce. Good luck.
Right, exactly.
Good luck. You might die.
Right.
You just might. But but that's how I went. You know, I was fully equipped with knowledge, and I can go either way if I wanted to. If I wanted to be a carnivore, I can go 100% that way. I can go 100% that way because I knew health before I did anything. So,
Would you say you're somebody, because I kind of like sometimes, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a foodie, but
Yeah.
but like you eat to live rather than live to eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really don't care for eating at all.
Yeah.
Like if someone said go 2 days without eating, okay, cool. It's bland, okay, cool. I don't care. It tastes good, okay, cool. Like I really don't care because, I had my suffering from sickle cell trait. I was in the hospital a lot, almost lost my kidneys twice. Used to get IVs before every game, oxygen tank during the game.
Wow.
I lost the love for things that made me feel good. I mean, taste good, and opted for things that make me feel good. So that's my
That's actually a great way to say it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I tell people is, when someone asks me about diet, the first thing I tell them is you need to start to recognize how it makes you feel. Like, get a diary. When you eat this, I feel this way. When I eat this, I feel this way, because your body will tell you what your response is if you just pay attention. Like, it's amazing to me that people, they just eat something and then they're like, man, I feel like crap. And then they eat it again. And you're like, maybe it's the food.
Yeah.
So.
But then also too, it's like pay attention an hour later how you feel too.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
Like you might feel great immediately because you're gonna get that,
or even a day later, like how in your bowel movements, like in your like all that stuff. Like, pay attention to the reaction you're having to what you're eating on a daily basis.
Yep,
And then, because I call it the elimination process.
Right.
And before we get into Torre's journey, like, that's what I believe we're all in a similar journey, is that we've all eliminated stuff. And I think that's if I look at people that are truly healthy, it's because they've eliminated processed foods, a lot of sugar, a lot of like just bad stuff, bad oils and what have you. And then they're eating, or if it's veggies or organic meat, like they're eating the right things, the non-processed foods. And that's where all of a sudden their life starts to change. So Torre, tell us like when you started.
Yeah, so my vegan journey actually started without me even knowing that it was actually vegan, because I was raised vegetarian. So I was raised. My mom was Seventh-day Adventist, and she went that route because she was raised Catholic, but she decided to change her lifestyle. And so once she went Seventh-day Adventist, she raised me and my brother in that vegetarian lifestyle, because Seventh-day Adventists have this message that it's all about health. And so that's how they push health as one of the keys to living like those back in the days of Garden of Eden. Because in Garden of Eden, that's all you had was fruit and vegetables. And so once I went that route, moved to Jamaica, like I was telling you, I moved to Jamaica and I lived with my grandparents. And then in Jamaica, I didn't have access to being vegetarian or vegan, only because my grandparents had no idea what that was.
Really?
Like, they're going to eat whatever we give them. And so she just asked them, hey, please just don't give them pork. So I've never had pork in my life. So I've had chicken, I've had beef, I've had cow tongue, tripe. I don't know if you know what tripe is. Tripe
No,
is
what is it?
Tripe is the intestines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Chitlins.
It's basically like chitin.
Oh, I've had
But in
chitlins.
Jamaica, it's called tripe.
Okay.
So
But
yeah, you
chitlin's
know
is
tripe.
pig, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
That's right.
Tripe
That's
is
easy.
cow.
Tripe is the cow.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and when I moved back to Florida, eventually I got connected with some friends of mine from high school. We're all Jamaican, and started growing our hair. And we said, you know what? We can't just grow our hair and not really identify or understand why. Because one of my friends, his father was Rasta, but he cut his locks to work in corporate America. And so since we were growing our locks, he kind of was like, oh, just our old fashion thing. Just grow your locks for fashion. Kind of like,
I got you.
Hip hop was
Right,
popular.
yeah.
The locks started getting popular. So we started looking into it, and I really looked into it. Like, I was reading the Nazarene vow, the whole thing about Rasta, and I saw that ital was a main component of the way they ate. But then I realized that a lot of Rastas that I was in contact with didn't eat this way. They still wore leather. They still ate fish or chicken, But most of the Rastas that lived off of the sea were fishermen, so they just basically ate fish still. And so, but when I saw that ital was encompassed none of that, I said, okay, I can't say I'm Rasta and not be really truly a Rasta, because to me it's hypocritical. And it was more my integrity, because I had no idea about the whole vegan lifestyle, because it was nothing I never heard of. Because living in Alabama and as a vegetarian,
Just
funny.
because
Yeah.
I'm from Alabama and It's barbecue on every corner. So
Once I realized more about it, I decided to just not consume anything that had animal in it. And when I really took on that in Florida, and then I went to school in Alabama. I went back to school in Alabama for my degree in engineering. But when I started in 98. In 98, I said, you know what? This is it. I just cut it off. I stopped eating it. My last meal was, I remember, because I had a girlfriend at the time. She made me salmon with rice and broccoli. And, because I was very much into bodybuilding. I was very much I read everything about it. I went to competitions, but I didn't compete. I was just intrigued, because that's another story of itself. I was intrigued of how they looked and wanted to look like that. Because to me, I said, that looks like a superhero. Because that was my only relation to anybody to look up to was a superhero, because my father wasn't there. He left when I was 5. So, and then once I took that on, studied more about Rasta, moved back to Alabama, went to school, got a job in Auburn. And then I remember going to a veg fest in Atlanta. And in that veg fest, I went to a food truck to get some Caribbean food, which was vegan at the time. And this lady asked me about my boots, because long story short, I hung out with a lot of people from the East Coast, so New York. So I was into New York music, hip hop scene, rocking Timberlands and and jeans. And so I had on Timbs, black Timbs, and jeans. And she said, "Oh, those are nice boots. Are they vegan?" And I was like, "What? Vegan? Like, I'm not eating my boots." That's what I'm thinking. Because to me, vegan was, when I learned about it, was all about your eat.
right.
And so that kind of pushed me into understanding that, it's more than just that. And so I've been that way ever since 98, just been pushing on through.
So it was more of a spiritual journey, really.
Spiritual integrity type of a thing. You know? And
who did you really admire in the bodybuilding world back then?
Yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah, I mean, me too. But
so, and it's funny because I've met him a few times.
I thought you'd be leaning towards Franco Columbu, since y'all are the same height. Franco was the man now.
Yeah,
come on.
But
he was a beast.
He just had a different physique structure. His lats came all the way down to his waist.
Yeah.
So he looked more like a cobra back versus the aesthetic that I like of Arnold.
Strong.
Yeah, he's strong. He broke his whole leg.
Yeah.
I remember he was carrying that fridge.
Right.
And he still kept moving.
Yeah.
But you saw it go.
Yeah, it was horrifying. Yeah.
Now
Arnold.
I say Arnold because I know he said it a million times like this.
Arnold. I mean, there's nobody ever that looks like him.
And what inspired me was because I started watching his movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I just started to look into his story. And I said, oh, he was a bodybuilder.
Did you see the documentary on him on Netflix?
The most recent?
Yeah, the most recent one. That was so good. So
it was good. It was good until he started talking the political stuff.
The political stuff, yeah.
But yeah.
And him banging his freaking.
And she.
Oof.
I don't know
when
how.
He started banging Shrek, like that was a problem.
Dude. And then like the son is like walking around the house, like, and then his wife's like,
"Wait a minute, y'all look just alike."
I got the same walk.
That was crazy. All right, John.
What up?
When did you start?
Oh man, it's been 20 years now.
Okay.
I started because my mother was sick, and I remember going to talk to the doctors, like, what happened? She had colon cancer. And I'm like, how did this happen? He's like, too much fried, fatty animal foods. I'm like, wait a minute, this is not hereditary? He's like, no, this is a lifestyle choice. And I just remember looking at him like, and I had already gone vegetarian for like a year. At that point, I was at Nova, completing my master's degree. And I was just like, man, let me just try this vegan. Like, to be honest, I don't know what my cursing limit is on here. But
You're good. You're fine.
I was like, I don't know let me just try this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just, and then I remember how I felt. Like, I had horrible IBS. TMI, but it is what it is. And I just remembered like being non-existent. And I was like, wait a minute, man. Like, hold on. That means I can like maybe solve this myself. And then I started noticing like my energy level picked up. Because I know a lot of people, they say, oh man, I went vegan and my energy level went down and that. And it's like, well, the answer was like, if you eat fucking salad every day, that's your main course dinner, then yeah, you probably ain't gonna have no energy. Like, there's other stuff out there. Yep. They literally say it's 70,000 edible plants on the earth. And everybody focuses on like 5.